Good evening. This is a national news broadcast coming to you live from the National News Studios. I'm Prashant De Silva.
And I'm Sharon Masquinius. First, it's a look at the day's headlines.
President informs the cabinet of a salary increase for public servants by the budget. A team of the World Bank visited Anuradhapura to look into the climatic smart irrigational agriculture. Residents of lower basin of the Daduroya will be in danger if rains continue. Uncle Percy of cricket in Sri Lanka passes away. Final rites of Anula Jaila was killed in Israel by Hamas attack were held today. Israel informs Gaza to evacuate patients of Al-Quds hospital. It has been reported that a decision has been taken to increase salaries of all public servants by the next budget.
Internal sources say that the President has informed the Cabinet today regarding this matter. The President has said that employees of the private sector will also be informed to make a salary increase to their employees in line with this salary increase. The President had said that the government will increase salaries to increase income of general public, not for the demands made by some political parties and trade unions. The President has further told the Cabinet that prices of essential items are increasing daily. Therefore, the present government's policy is to increase salaries of the working people.
Ministers say that attention has been focused by the budget to problems faced by the general public, even amidst the prevailing economic difficulties in the country. They point out that a challenging budget will be presented this year by making concerns for all sectors. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that the entire tax income gathered last year is 1,751 billion rupees. Out of the amount, 72% or 1,265 billion rupees have been spent for payment of salaries to public servants and allowances for pensioners. Another sum of 506 billion rupees are needed to pay samurudhi and other reliefs. Then there is no balance from the tax income. Then the country has to pay about 1,500 billion rupees as interest for foreign debts. These all expenses have to be made by taking more debts. State Minister Dr. Ranjit Siembala said that there are about 1.4 million public servants and about 600,000 pensioners. A huge sum of money is required for a salary and pension increase for about 2 million individuals. This is the heaviest challenge the government has to face. The government has to maintain state income without becoming bankrupt again. However, the government cannot forget the pressure the people are subjected to at present.
In an effort to streamline the Aswasuma benefit program and address ongoing concerns, the Ministry of Finance has announced that the implementation of an Aswasuma week from November 6th to the 11th. The objective of this initiative is to promptly rectify the issues plaguing the program and to ensure that deserving beneficiaries receive their entitled support without further delay.
During a press conference held at the Presidential Media Centre today with the overarching theme of a collective path to a stable country, State Minister Shehan Singha unveiled the upcoming Aswasuma week and elaborated on its core goals. State Minister of Finance Shehan Singha said that this initiative aims to provide immediate support to families who have not yet received their entitled benefits. Furthermore, it extends its support to those who have been selected as relief beneficiaries.
A team of World Bank representatives engaged in a field tour in Anuradhapura to look into the matters of promoting climatic smart irrigational agriculture in the dry zone. The tour was centered in the Climatic Smart Farmers Training School in Tirupane. The team of IMF representatives is comprised with Managing Director of the World Bank, Operational Affairs, Anna Bian, and Regional Vice Chairman of the World Bank, Martin Weiser. The President, Ranil Wickremesinghe, during his US official tour, had a discussion with the World Bank Chairman Ajay Banga and made a request to get support of the World Bank to continue the climatic-friendly sustainable agricultural program in Sri Lanka. Accordingly, This team of the World Bank visited the Anuradhapura Climatic Smart Farmer Training School. Managing Director of the World Bank Operational Affairs, Anna visited Sri Lanka for the first time. The Climatic Smart Farmer Training School provides practical experience to farmers on agricultural technology. A group of trained farmers were also distributed with certificates at this occasion. The World Bank team also visited the export-targeted sour banana project in Rajangania, which has been implemented under the World Bank aid. This project has led to considerably increase the income of small banana crop owners and farmer families in relevant areas.
Greetings from Sri Lanka. I'm in the north of the country where I have the privilege of visiting a school for farmers that is undertaking classes in climate-smart agriculture. This is important because the farmers in this area have noticed a change in the weather pattern, of course brought on by climate change. Through this school, they're learning techniques like better harvesting of water, which is yielding much better crops and sustainable livelihoods. But this is not the only thing. I learned 3 other benefits from this project that it's bringing. Number 1, farmers have been switching to solar panels, renewable energy, and reducing their reliance on diesel. This is great. Number 2, by having more steady yield of their crops, they're earning a much more steady stream of income, which is allowing them to send their kids to school, including higher education. And number 3, the food security element is bringing security also on nutrition, which of course is everything, because health is everything. I am so pleased that the World Bank is able to support this project, and I hope we can support other projects like this. This is the very first school of its kind in Sri Lanka, but also in the South Asia region, and I hope we can replicate this project elsewhere.
We now bring you an update from Gaza. The Palestinian Red Crescent in Gaza says Israel has told them to evacuate Al-Qaeda, a key hospital in Gaza City.
The organization says there are patients in intensive care units and babies in incubators, and moving them is impossible. Around 14,000 civilians are also understood to be sheltering in the hospital and its grounds. The Palestinian Red Crescent says intense Israeli air raids are taking place in Gaza's Tal al-Hawa area, where the Al-Quds hospital is located. Despite Israeli orders to evacuate the facility, the hospital administration says it is impossible to do so as most of the patients are elderly and have disabilities. The hospital area has been hit all day by airstrikes as Israel reports killing dozens of terrorists in Gaza on Sunday. Meanwhile, 10 trucks carrying relief supplies have been allowed into Gaza from Egypt, a day after thousands broke into depots to take basic supplies. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says more than 8,000 people have been killed since Israel's retaliatory bombing began. Israel's bombardment of Gaza has taken an unprecedented toll on children in particular. Save the Children's analysis of the numbers reveals a particularly harrowing fact. The number of children killed in Gaza since the conflict began is estimated to be 3,195, which is higher than the total number of children killed in conflicts around the world annually since 2019. And the number is likely to be higher, with 1,000 children also reporting missing and most likely buried under the rubble of buildings destroyed by Israeli bombing.
Final rites of the late Anula Jaila, who was killed by a Hamas attack in Israel recently, was held this evening at the Vevaldua Public Cemetery in Kalania. She was 49 years at the time of her death. Her remains were airlifted to the island on the 27th of this month. Following a post-mortem conducted in the Negombo General Hospital, her body was sealed and brought to her residence in Dalugama yesterday. The body was buried this evening. A large crowd, including villagers of Dalugama and army officers of the Kalanimula Infantry Regiment, gathered at the burial. Legendary cheerleader of cricket in Sri Lanka, Percy passed away today.
He was popular among cricketers and cricket fans worldwide as Uncle Percy. Born on the 30th of July 1936, Percy Abesekara was 87 years at the time of death. He started his career as Sri Lanka's cricket cheerleader with the Lions flag in his hand in 1979. Since then, about 44 years, Percy Abesekara cheered Sri Lankan team in almost all matches played in Sri Lanka and abroad. He was undergoing health problems for several months during the past period and received treatments. He passed away at the Ragama Teaching Hospital today. Sri Lankan cricketers and cricket fans will experience his loss in the international cricket grounds hereafter. We wish supreme bliss of Nibbana for late Uncle Percy. The Met Department says many areas in the island will experience showers or thunder showers in the latter part of the day tomorrow.
And to bring you more on that, some places may receive heavy rains exceeding 75 millimeters. Meanwhile, 6 sluice gates of the Dadruoya Reservoir were open up to 2 feet due to the heavy rains experiencing in the catchment area since several days. A water flow about 14,000 cubic feet per second is released to the Dadruoya from the reservoir. The irrigational engineer in charge of the reservoir says this may cause minor flood situation in the low-lying areas of the lower basin of Dadruoya. He says, however, the people living in such areas should be vigilant of major floods if the sluice gates are to be opened further. Catchment areas of Castlereagh, Mausakale and Vimala Surendra hydropower stations received heavy rains last evening. Water level of the Castlereagh reservoir has only 2 feet 9 inches more to reach the spill level. Mausakale reservoir has only 5 feet more to reach the spill level. As the water levels increase, Vimala Surendra, Laksapana, New Laksapana, Pulpitia and Kanyan hydropower stations are operating at the maximum capacity at present. Due to the inclement weather experiencing in the catchment areas of Nilvala River and Kirabaara have been overflowing for over 2 months. People living in low basins of these rivers are experiencing this with severe hardships due to floods. Low-lying areas in Kithalagama, Narangala, Velletota, Kadduwa, Karagoda and Uyangoda are still underwater. Some byroads in the area are still impassable due to floods. Meanwhile, a program to distribute essential commodities to the families affected by the inclement weather in the area was held in the Atula Dasanarama temple yesterday. A private firm has made donations for this program.
The Development Lotteries Board introduces a new lottery ticket titled Supiridana Sampatha to the market today. The board says this lottery is drawn every day in the week. The launch of the new ticket was held at the Development Lotteries Board this morning under the patronage of State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe. The super prize of this lottery is 20 million rupees. The inaugural draw will take place on the 9th of November. State Minister Shehan Semasinghe said that the Development Lotteries Board made a huge contribution to maintain the country's economy. Nearly 25,000 families earn a living under the Development Lotteries Board. In addition, the board contributes a huge sum of money to the President's Fund. Many low-income and needy families obtain financial support from the President's Fund for their health problems. The President's Fund also provides support for educational activities of the needy students through the Mahapola Scholarship Program.
ඉතින් මේ සංවර්ධන ලොතරැයි මණ්ඩලය ශක්තිමත් වීම අලුත් ටිකට් පත් ඇතුළු අලුත් ක්‍රමවේදයන් හඳුන්වා දීම තමන්ගේ ලාභය වැඩි කිරීම පාරිභෝගිකයන්ට අවශ්‍ය ඒ තෑගි ප්‍රමාණය ලබා දීම සහ
A large gathering including Deputy Secretary to the Treasury Sarath Kumara were present at the occasion.
Turkish Airlines have started direct flights to Sri Lanka. The airline has planned to maintain daily flights to Colombo from next year. The first flight landed in ChannelEye Airport early this morning with 261 passengers. After about 2 hours stay in ChannelEye, the aircraft went back to Istanbul with 209 passengers. The Turkish Airlines are ready to operate 4 flights a week in the coming weeks. Turkish ambassador in Sri Lanka, Demet Sekersiglu, Chairman of the Airport and Civil Aviation Company, retired Major General G.H. Chandrasiri, were present at the welcome ceremony for the inaugural flight at the ChannelEye Airport.
And now for a few more local news items in brief. The Sri Lankan Airlines have increased the weekly flights between Colombo and Lahore up to 4. Accordingly, flights will be operated every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Thursday of the week. In addition, Sri Lankan Airlines will maintain 4 flights a week between Colombo and Karachi. A new bus service was launched from Krolema area in Kathadua to Petta. People in the area have faced many difficulties due to lack of bus service to Colombo for a long period. A new bus operated in the Kaspeava SLTB depot now runs from Koralegama to Petta via School Avenue and Kathadua. Minister Dr. Bandhu also participated at the launch of the new bus service. A new access way has been opened to Horton Place from the Diagama area. A ticket counter with all facilities has also been set up at this new access way. A sum of 50 million rupees has been spent on the project with the sponsorship of Tokyo Cement Company. Minister Pavitra Rachi and many others were present at the opening ceremony. A team of representatives from leading investing company in Thailand, TPI group of companies, arrived in the island yesterday with the aim of investing in the power and energy sector in Sri Lanka. They visited Gangarama temple in Hunupitiya and met the guardian of the temple, Venerable Dr. Kirindaya Sajithera, and received blessings. A vocational training program has been implemented for the unemployed young generation in the Madhugama educational zone. An exhibition was held yesterday with the creations made by participants of the vocational training. Officials of the Madhugama Zonal Educational Office were present at the occasion.
Stay with us. Foreign news is coming up next.
நான் பேங்க் போயிட்டு வரேன். இப்ப
And on foreign news, foreign media reports say that at least 13 people died and 50 were injured after 2 passenger trains collided in Andhra Pradesh's Vizianagaram district yesterday night. The Visakhapatnam Rayagada passenger special train hit the Visakhapatnam Palasas passenger express from the rear, leading to the derailment of multiple coaches. Official sources confirm the collision took place between Kantatapalli and Alamanda railway stations. Top railway ministry officials said the driver of the train that collided from the rear had missed the signal. A statement issued by the East Coast Railway said that the train services of the Chennai-Howrah routes were disrupted because of the accident. Several trains on the route were either cancelled or diverted, according to a railways official. The railways have already started the process of distributing ex gratia amount 1 million Indian rupees to the families of the deceased and rupees 500,000 Indian rupees to those injured. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced a payment of 200,000 Indian rupees for the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund for the next kin of each of the deceased and 50,000 Indian rupees to each of the injured.
Foreign media reports part of the United Kingdom are poised for heavy rain and flooding over the next few days ahead of the arrival of Storm Kieran later this week. Flood warnings are in place across parts of England, Scotland and Wales, while there are also yellow rain warnings in Northern Ireland. Storm Kieran is set to bring strong winds and heavy rain to southern England and Wales when it arrives on Thursday. It comes after a number of areas in the UK faced flooding over the weekend. Forecasters warn that saturated ground conditions caused by the persistent wet weather will increase the risk of flooding. Homes were evacuated and shops were damaged after a village in County Durham was deluged by several feet of water over the weekend. In Hastings, East Sussex, a shopping centre was evacuated after floodwater ripped through one of its entrances. On Sunday, a caravan parked in Bognor Regis was submerged underwater. The town's Tesco supermarket car park was flooded and a house roof was ripped off in heavy winds, residents described as likely a tornado.
Bangladesh's leading opposition figure has been detained as tensions mount between the country's governing party and opposition forces ahead of general elections due in January. Mirza Islam, Secretary General of the opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party, was picked up by law enforcement yesterday, a day after a mass anti-government protest rocked the capital of Dhaka. Dhaka Metropolitan Police Commissioner said the opposition leader had been detained for questioning over violence that broke out during Saturday's protest, which killed one police officer and one protester and injured many on both sides. Detention intensifies a crackdown on Bangladesh's opposition in the lead-up to next year's vote, which will decide the country's next premier. Hundreds of opposition activists have been arrested, and the Bangladesh Nationalist Party's longtime leader, former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, is under de facto house arrest. Opposition figures have called on Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to resign, arguing she cannot be trusted to hold free and fair elections after being in office for more than 15 years. Under Hasina's tenure, Bangladesh has achieved steady economic growth, but has also seen a spike in inflation, making it difficult for many citizens to make ends meet. More than 100,000 protesters took to the streets of Dhaka on Saturday, marking the largest demonstrations this year, according to journalists with the AFP news agency who were present at the scene.
Was increased in response to the call.
The World Cup ODI match between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan is now being played in Pune. Batting first, Sri Lanka were all out for 241 runs in 49.3 overs. In reply, Afghanistan were 193 runs for the loss of 3 wickets in 39 overs.
Winning the toss, Afghanistan elected to field first. Batting first for Sri Lanka, Pathum Nissanka and Dimuth Karunaratne opened the Sri Lanka innings. Dimuth Karunaratne scored 15 runs, Pathum Nissanka scored 46 runs, Kusal Mendis scored 39 runs and Sadira Samaravikraman scored 36 runs. Mahesh Deekshana scored 29 runs. In bowling, Fazal Haq claimed 4 wickets. In reply, Rahmanullah Gurbaz and Ibrahim Sadran opened the Afghanistan's innings.
And that concludes your news bulletin for tonight. Do join us tomorrow as well for the very latest, together with Sharon and Prashant. Good night.